Are we still shocked? Really? Are we still shocked that a man as despicable and craven and greedy and grifty and destructive as Donald Trump would be all of the things he is? Are we still shocked that he would have the audacity and the complete lack of self-awareness to announce that he is ordering a triumphal arch to be built and placed at the entrance of the Memorial Bridge that leads from Arlington National Cemetery to the Lincoln Memorial in honor of the 250th anniversary of the founding of this country? No, no. In honor of him. Are we shocked that he calls it the Arc to Trump? That makes me want to die of shame, quite frankly. Although potential bright side, someday we survive, we might be able to repurpose it. So that'll be fun. Are we shocked when somebody who has never created anything in his life, anything, would destroy the people's house? We have no right to be shocked. I've said this time and time again. We have to shift our focus. Donald is going to keep getting away with anything he can get away with. This is his MO from time immemorial. Push the envelope. See how far you can push the envelope. If you get away with it, push it further. We have to turn our attention to the people who are allowing all of this to happen. Sure, we can be deeply, deeply embarrassed that Donald stood in front of the world with his tiny arches and claimed, again, that the arch was being built for him and named after him right near Arlington National Cemetery. We can be deeply humiliated that he said that there are 3 different models for the arch, a small one, a medium one, and a large one, but he likes the large one best. Yeah, no fucking kidding. Compensating for anything, perhaps? Just speculating. Who is allowing all of this to happen? The corrupt, illegitimate supermajority of the Supreme Court and every single elected Republican. Not just in Congress, not just in the House of Representatives, not just in the Senate, in this country, from local governments through state governments to federal governments. The Republicans are allowing all of this to happen. And for what? I'm sure privately some of them are horrified that Donald allowed a bulldozer to deface the facade of the East Wing. I'm sure they're just feeling terrible about it. But unless and until they grow a spine and stand up and speak out and put a stop to this, which they have the power to do, Congress has the constitutional responsibility, power, and obligation to put a stop to these desecrations. Unless and until they do, they are to blame for all of this. Donald is who he is. He always has been exactly the same person. I have never in my life met a human being as incapable of evolving as he is. He cannot change. Why should he? Why? He never has had to since he was a very young child. The Republican Party, however, they know that they could at least put the brakes on his worst depredations. They know that they could box him in if only they cared enough to. So why aren't they? Because they care more about their petty power. They care more about rigging the system. They care more about turning this country into whatever version of this country they have in their minds, whether it's a theocratic apartheid state, a Christian nationalist authoritarian dictatorship. I don't know. I don't care anymore. They are the ones who are responsible for allowing this to continue. And they must pay the price. Somebody has to be held accountable that the people's house is being systematically destroyed. So a tyrannical toddler with delusions of grandeur, who is so psychologically damaged, he needs a $250 million ballroom in the place of the East Wing of the White House to make himself feel better about the fact that he's a weak, pathetic piece of garbage. If somebody is not held accountable for this, then this road is going to get darker and the slide is going to get steeper. I do not know how to change things in the Republican Party. All I know is that we need to continue speaking out and showing up in force and making it clear to these craven, weak-kneed capitulators that we aren't going anywhere and we are serious. No kings, no fascists, no un-American, anti-American, anti-constitutional blaggards are going to be allowed in this government anymore if we have anything to do with it. It has to be up to us. We need to force the issue. And the only way that happens is to keep showing up in force, not with force, in force, with one voice, speaking out against all of the horrors that are being committed on a daily basis. Because too many people are afraid of a man who is himself a terrified little boy. Let's dive in. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this evening's episode of Marriage Up Live. Are we having fun yet? Well, we know that Donald isn't having fun, and that's something. He's the most miserable person alive, which, considering all of the advantages he's had in his life and considering how much he has, most of it stolen, of course, but considering how much he has is just another testament to what a pathetic loser he is. But because it never is enough, reminds me of a book I've heard about. Anyway, he's continuing to rip off the American people. This afternoon, the New York Times reported that Donald is seeking roughly $230 million from the Justice Department. Why? Well, he wants compensation for federal investigations into his corrupt, illegal, unconstitutional actions. That's why. These include the FBI's Russia probe and the classified documents case, and no doubt the January 6th case. Donald's claims were submitted through the DOJ's administrative claim system, as opposed to his usual filing of a grievance lawsuit. He filed one Form 95 in late 2023 and a second one in December of 2024. The second claim alleges privacy violations by the FBI in their Mar-a-Lago search. It was a search. It was not a raid. And he called it a quote-unquote malicious prosecution. The Times story adds that if granted, compensation for matters like this usually get covered by taxpayers. So what does that mean? That means that Donald's DOJ, as led by the execrable Pam Bondi, will almost certainly cut him a check for $230 million at our expense. This is happening during a government shutdown. an economic downturn caused directly by Donald's egregious economic policies, including his misguided tariffs, which are impoverishing American farmers. And yes, because he does not care about any Americans, including those who voted for him as many as 3 times. He wants us to hand over to him $230 million. And because everything is wrong with this country right now, except those of us who are on the right side of everything, he will almost certainly get it. We're almost 3 weeks into the aforementioned government shutdown. That has resulted in thousands of layoffs. So because Donald is such a strong leader, he's celebrated. Yeah. Because, who can be bothered? Who can be bothered with the fact that people are been furloughed and aren't getting their paychecks, or people are being expected to show up to work because they're essential workers and they are either not getting paid their full amount or they're not getting paid at all? Who can be bothered? He has a White House to destroy and a ballroom to build and a triumphal arch to put up. He's busy. And all of that in between rounds of golf that we also pay for. Just going to take a quick second here. The idea that there are people who work in this government, people who have actually taken an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution, who either aren't or pretend not to be sickened by what they are enabling, surpasses my understanding. The Associated Press reports that today Donald hosted a gathering of Republican lawmakers in the parking lot that used to be the White House Rose Garden. He applauded GOP leaders for what I don't begin to understand. They are responsible for the shutdown. They're responsible for the fact that we are on the brink of becoming a full-blown fascist autocracy. Oh, well, I guess he likes that sort of thing. So that tracks. He made fun of Joe Biden. If you'll remember, Joe Biden was president a long time ago at this point. I'm not entirely sure why he's relevant to anything. Oh, because he's not. And of course, Donald falsely touted the greatness of his tariff policies, despite the fact that, as we all know, just as the American farmer, they are failing catastrophically. Instead of addressing the hundreds of thousands of civil servants who were going without pay, or talking about the Head Start programs that are going unfunded, those pesky little programs that help feed hungry children, Donald talked his usual nonsense. Here's a clip of what he was trying to say.
Somebody went up there, they say, you're the third best president in the United States. This was on television, third best. And they said, who are the first two? George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. And I got extremely angry at this man. You can't, it's going to be tough to beat, Mr. Senator. It's going to be, John, it's going to be very tough to beat Washington and Lincoln, but we're going to give it a try, right? Hey, they didn't put out 8 wars, 9 coming, all right? We put out 8 wars, and the 9th is coming, believe it or not.
I choose not to believe that. He's done nothing to solve anything. He's made everything worse. I mean, maybe that is worthy of a Nobel Peace Prize. Who knows? Essentially, I mean, I don't know who he's quoting. Some kiss-ass sycophant who, likes proximity to corrupt power, I suppose. Clearly, this country is full of millions of such people. But time and time again, historians come out with lists practically every year to rank the presidents of the United States. Time and time again, historians. And these are, either nonpartisan or they are across the ideological spectrum. They rank Donald the worst president in this country's history, or at least very close to the bottom of being the worst. Just give it time, Donald, right? Just give it time. I mean, obviously, he's the worst president in my lifetime. But because, I'm 249 years old, that means that he's the worst president ever. We are a long-lived people, my family, which is great for me, but very bad for the rest of us because, anyway, the constant bragging, the constant need to erect monuments to himself. Again, it is so humiliating for this country. It is so destructive to any ideas we ever had about being a strong, capable, caring people. It is so antithetical to what we're supposed to be. So again, I say we must focus on the people who are letting it happen. All right, as promised, we are going to share with you more No Kings protest signs. Because not only, there's a lot we need to be focusing on at the same time, obviously. But let's not lose sight of this incredible thing that happened. Let's not allow that to fade from our memories or to get lost in the rear view, because we're going to need to keep doing this. We need to keep people motivated and inspired. So we've got pictures of the best signs and costumes people saw from Saturday. You guys did not disappoint. The first two came in from Martha in DC. The first sign says 1776 needs no sequel, no gods, no king, we the people. And the second one from Martha says denying reality with constant lies. Yes, indeed. The next image is from Sherry in Oregon. And that sign reads, kings, dictators, tyrants in a red circle with a red line through them. In other words, no kings, no dictators, no tyrants. Here's one from Tom in Ohio. I gotta admit, I love the inflatable dinosaur costumes. And then we have a sign sent to us by Myrna, which says, original Antifa, fight fascist. Indeed. The next sign is a historical appreciation from Jim. And the sign reads 23 ancestors in the Revolutionary War, no kings in 1776 or 2025. Indeed. Wow, that's incredible. 23 ancestors from the. I'm impressed. Next, we have a little flair for liberty from Margaret. Girl, hold my earrings. And Joe sent us a group shot with some A+ signage. Good trouble lives on, no kings. And this administration can go where the sun don't shine. Or actually, it's grammatical. Where the sun doesn't shine. I prefer a grammatically correct sign. And here's another one from our good friend Anne. No kings. Sorry, no crowns. 4 clowns. Yeah, that says it all. And finally, a group shot of good friends with good signs sent in by Rebecca. Democracy does not fear a protest. Dictators do. We the people, not we the billionaires. We die by lies. Dump Donald. You'll forgive me for not saying the actual word on the sign. And no kings. Tonight, I just want to let you all know there is a No Kings live call at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can go to nokings.org, where everyone can register. It's all about what actions we the people take next. So please feel free to check it out. Susan is going to drop the link in the chat. So I just want to thank all of you because you are what our democracy is about, right? Those pictures remind us what democracy looks like. It's people standing up, getting out, and speaking up. So keep up the great work. Stay plugged in and, continue to check in on the No Kings movement because we've got to keep the momentum going. We cannot let up at this point. Every day is getting worse. And every day we need to remind them what's coming for them. And it's us. And I mean that obviously metaphorically speaking. You know. All right. Today, finally, is coming to a close. I think it's Tuesday. And we've reached our emotional support moment. It's been a lot. I mean, Jesus, it's been a lot. So I want to leave you with some footage of one of my favorite creatures on the planet, sea turtles, doing what they do, which is sea turtling. You did not know there was such a gerund, did you? So please breathe and relax. And after watching this, I hope you were going to get a very good night's sleep. But just don't let those little guys bite you. Because, ow. Here we go. There's nothing quite like watching a sea turtle glide through the sea. That helped. That totally helped. You know what else is going to help? Getting to your comments and questions, etc. So let's do that. First, I need to find the right button. Sorry. There we go. All right. Kim is a new member. Thank you, Kim, and welcome. That's excellent. Jean, question. Is anyone going to buy Virginia Giuffre's? I'm so sorry. I never pronounce her name correctly, and it makes me crazy. Sorry. I don't know. It's one of those things I just can't keep in my head. Maybe because I find her story so horrifically heartbreaking. Okay, so is anyone going to buy Virginia Giuffre's book? I read an excerpt on Google. Boy, is this going to be hard to read. I haven't bought it yet. I'm going to buy it. I read a review of it, and it sounds like it's absolutely something worth reading. And I think we should, if those of us who can, should certainly buy it in solidarity. You know, not that she'll know, sadly. Ghostly Air 59, how are you? Okay. This is a comment I can get behind. I say we all sue him. Let's go, people. Yeah, I mean, there must be some kind of class action lawsuit that we can come up with. Seriously, we've got to get creative. This is obscenity. It's got to be illegal. This is vandalism. I mean, what other word is there for it? So, lawyers out there, please, let's come up with something. I mean, Jesus Christ, if he can sue me for $100 million, I think we can sue him for $100 billion. I mean, I'm just one person. Also, Ghostly Air 59, I hope you enjoyed Myrtle Beach to the extent that's possible. Very cool conference. Myrtle Beach. Donna, hello. Question. Hey, Why does Donald think that he can destroy our White House and sue us for $230 million for investigating him? Because he can. That's why. Here's my question. Why wouldn't he think he could do these things? He has sued Meta, Paramount, I think the Washington Post, and one other media organization for hundreds of millions of dollars. These were frivolous lawsuits that legal experts and analysts told us had no merit. And if the parties he sued fought him, they would have been thrown out of court. Every single time they settled because they needed something from him. $19 million from Paramount, something like 20 million from Meta, and on and on and on. Why in the world would he think he can't get 230 million of our taxpayer dollars from his DOJ? You think Pam Bondi's going to say no? Because Pam Bondi and every single person in the Trump regime, including the entire fascist Republican Party, also need something from him. Safety, security, and power. Because that is all these fucking people care about. Yeah. I'll put a couple of bucks in the swear jar. Maybe. Carol, comment. Donald is so bad wasting our money for a ballroom, he will probably not pay the construction workers. Well, honestly, if you are foolish enough to contract with him to do work for him without getting every single penny of your money up front, that's your problem. For decades, he has had that reputation of stiffing workers. And yet he was allowed to get away with pretending he cares about the working American. It's disgusting. Cindy, thank you so much as always for being a super sticker and for that. Mina Cheryl, thank you as always for gifting one Mary Trump Media membership. Vicky, comment, they are giving him building projects to keep him busy. Yes, they are. And I'm telling you, that's why they're letting him do it. Because while he's doing these enraging, harmful, but I guess in the grand scheme of things, meaningless things, they are making sure they enact their fascist playbook, Project 2025. Debbie Joe, question. Doesn't he have to get an okay from Congress or someone before he starts these very expensive projects? Well, yeah. Yes, permits, all sorts of stuff. All sorts of hoops needed to be jumped through, except, you know that expression? I actually don't like this expression, but it is better to ask for forgiveness than permission. I know. Donald is never going to ask for forgiveness, but he's certainly not going to ask for permission. So he did the thing. He did the destructive thing. What are they going to do? Tell him to undo it? The East Wing of the White House is gone. Yeah. Not sure why I'm so angry about this, but I am. Sue, comment. Let's spread the rumor that the arch is named in Mary's honor. Okay, cool. Actually, in 2024, don't ask me why. It's a long, stupid story. I drove from New York to Chicago for the Democratic National Convention, which means I also drove back. And all along the way, I had a little project to help the drive go because I was essentially driving through Donald country and, Pennsylvania and Ohio. And obviously then up into Illinois. And it's very much the same landscape. So I decided I was going to look for signs by the side of the road in support of Donald, right? I figured there'd be a ton of them. And actually, one of the things that gave me hope is it's like a 10-hour drive. I saw one sign. one sign. And I wanted to, I wasn't able to do it, but I had wanted to pull over. I think it was in the middle of a cornfield or something, and it would have been difficult. But I so wanted to pull my car over, jump over the guardrail, and spray paint my name, my first name. So it said, instead of saying Trump 2024, it said Mary Trump 2024. But I didn't really plan ahead. One, because it was in the middle of a cornfield and there wasn't really a safe place to pull over, and two, I didn't have any spray paint. Oh well. But if that arch goes up, I have a plan. Thank you, Sue. Erin, thank you so very much, as always, for gifting 20 Mary Trump Media memberships. That's awesome. And check this out. Erin following up with gifting 10 Mary Trump Media memberships, which is a total, because I am a Trump who can add, 30. Thank you, Erin. That's truly awesome of you. Mission Road 100. Comment, just change the name of the country to Trumpland, have his picture at every house, etc., just like North Korea. I mean, we are this close to that. Don't kid yourself. This close to that. And what's horrifying is the number of people who will go along with it. But just remember, I know it's hard. There are so much more of us than there are of them, and they cannot pull this off without majority support, which they are not anywhere near to having, which is why we have to stand firm and continue doing our work, no matter how demoralizing it sometimes is. It was a tough day. Vera, thank you so much for that comment. Congress needs to grow a pair and stop that vile man for destroying our White House. He's so disgusting. Yeah, but so are they. In fact, they're worse, because you can make an argument. I certainly can. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to let him off the hook for anything. He's responsible. He should be held accountable. He should be in the Hague at this point. I'm talking about Donald. But characterologically, you can make the argument that he can help himself. The people allowing it to happen, however, they're making a choice. And for that, they should never be forgiven. Joe, thank you so much, as always. Question, how do we legally stop paying federal taxes? I don't want to pay for this shit. Yeah, well, blue states have to get their acts together. That's for sure. I mean, Joe, I'm Colorado. I don't know if that's your last name or that's where you live, but if you live in Colorado, that's a blue state. All of our governors in blue states need to figure out a way to stop giving our state taxes to this corrupt, grotesque regime. And they need to do it yesterday. Vera, thank you again. And I like this message. Impeach and convict. Yes, yes, indeed. Spencer, thank you so much, as always, Spencer. Much appreciated. Comment, oh my God, Arc to Trump. So Dollar JT has the nerve to link his fascism to France. I just got that. Dollar JT. His fascism to France, one of the world's proudest socialist democracies. Shameless. As a French descendant, I'm insulted. Yeah, we should be insulted on an hourly basis by this creep. Yeah, Arc to Trump. Yep. JA is a new member. Thank you so much, JA. It's wonderful to have you here in the middle of nowhere. Wow. Thank you so much for that generous gift. Comment, I've an uncle who died at Pearl Harbor. His remains were recovered after 83 years. Wow. The longest time a veteran remained unidentified and then connected by DNA to their family, and will receive full military honors, when he's buried in Arlington in May. On the one hand, that's incredible. On the other hand, I'm so sorry that this person is president. Well, that is going to happen. But let's remember what's important here. Your uncle was an honorable man who served his country, and he has, I'm sure it means a lot to his family, that he was identified and returned to them, and that he will receive full military honors. That's incredible, truly. Susan, thank you so much as always for this. Comment, no King's virtual call tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Steps to take after the protest with the URL, the link, www.nokings.org. So everybody, if you can, please check that out. Rita, question, is that Ronald McDonald arches? Well, I mean, that would be fitting, wouldn't it? I think so. Maybe there will be a little McDonald's food truck right next to the arch, because that would be fitting too. La Sylphide? Sylphide? I don't know. I apologize. Member for 2 months. Fabulous. With love from Sweden. Oh, Sweden. I want to go to Sweden someday. I had one of the best experiences ever being a guest on a Swedish talk show. But of course, it was during COVID and it was via Zoom, sadly. Richard, thank you so much, Richard. Question, do people not know that Hitler planned on building an arch? My parents hate when I compare this administration to Nazi Germany, but it's right there. Yes, it is. Why did Hitler not ever build the arch? Well, because he was a coward who killed himself with a cyanide pill before he could be held accountable for the atrocities he committed. Anybody who's unwilling to recognize the similarities at this point between the Trump regime and the Nazi regime is kidding themselves. They're just not being honest. Just not being honest. Read your history. Andre is a new member. Thank you so much. It's wonderful to have you here, Andre. Donna, thank you so much. One, for being a super sticker, as always, but also for this wonderful gift. And finally, from Michael, thank you as always. Comment, the company doing the demolition is ASECO. The general contractor is Clark Construction. They need to be boycotted. Yeah, Michael, thank you for bringing that up. Actually, they have been getting slammed. I mean, I don't know about Clark Construction, but I know ASECO has been getting slammed with 1-star reviews on whatever, Yelp or what have you. So, internet, do your worst. They deserve it. No, I mean, could you imagine signing up for that job? The only slight sympathy I would have is if it turns out that they were going bankrupt because of Donald's policies. But have a little self-respect, have a little sense of history, have a little basic human decency. In other words, slam them with 1-star reviews. And finally, again, Susan, member for 3 months. Fantastic. Comment, thank you, Mary Trump Media Team, and this awesome community. I second that. You guys are awesome. My team is awesome. Thank you to everybody watching on YouTube, streaming on Twitter and Substack, and listening to the podcast. To all of our new members, all of you fabulous people gifting new memberships, to our incredible super stickers, and to those of you wonderful people giving us gifts. We truly, truly appreciate it. Things are... The YouTube algorithm is continuing to behave like a jerk to us. So you're helping get us through. We are this close to 480,000 subscribers. Again, things are kind of... What's that phrase? Slowing to a crawl, but we'll get there. Again, our goal is still 500,000 and then 1 million and then 20 trillion. Kind of like one of Donald's lawsuits. It's going to keep making the numbers bigger. Because why not? So, speaking of that, the easiest way to support us is just subscribe to our channel. And if you haven't subscribed already and are going to, and if you already have, please, what you need to check that you have clicked on that bell icon and that you have selected all when asked about notifications. If you don't click on all, you won't get notified, because then it is left up to the YouTube algorithm to decide what you will or will not be informed about. And we don't want to do that. So if you click all, you will get notified every time new videos drop, because we don't just have the lives Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. We have videos, at least 2 videos dropping 7 days a week. And if you don't click on all for notifications, you won't necessarily know about them. So please check that out, because we think something's been weird with the algorithm and the way things have been sent out. So, the other thing you could do to help us is watch the videos, the pre-recorded videos that come out every day, 7 days a week. Watch them, like them, share them, comment on them. All of those things really help. And of course, just share our channel with other people who may not know about it, because apparently a lot of people don't know about it. And we'd like to rectify that situation. You know, why not? Also, please check out my Substack. It's called The Good in Us. And maybe somebody could put that. We'll put it in the show notes, but it's, if you just Google Barry Trump, The Good in Us, you'll be brought right to it. It's a great community over there too. We'd like to have more overlap, because why not? It's always nice to have more friends. To our most excellent moderators for being most excellent. And of course, to my tremendous team who knocks it out of the park every day. And on days like this, that is particularly appreciated. So thanks, guys. And I'm telling you, we are going to get there. Just have to hang tough, because that's what we do here, right? That does it for us. I will be back tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern. So please check in. And before that, though, check out our other videos. We just made one about the desecration at the White House. I was a little angry in that one, too. If you like me angry, well, you're going to like that video. And other than that, please have a wonderful evening. And until I see you next time, please stay safe and be kind. Bye.